All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to take a trip to a windswept hill in southeastern Turkey, a place that is completely changing how we think about our ancient past. It's so old and so unbelievably advanced that it's forcing us to pretty much tear up the first chapter of human history and start over. Seriously, just take a moment and let this sink in. This place, Göbekli Tepe, was built around 12,000 years ago. That's 6,000 years before Stonehenge. It's 7,000 years before the pyramids. I mean, it's just staggering. And here's the real kicker. It was built by people we've always thought of as simple hunter-gatherers.
So you have to be wondering, how did a place this important stay hidden for all that time? Well, let's get into the story of how it was found. For decades, this site, which the locals call Belly Hill, was just overlooked. Archaeologists thought it was probably a medieval cemetery, nothing too special. But then, in 1994, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt showed up. And he looked at the hill and thought, that shape, that doesn't look natural. And boy, was he right. What he started to uncover would change literally everything. This timeline really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Just look where Göbekli Tepe is. Construction starts before we have any solid proof of farming. It predates these other massive ancient wonders not by a few hundred years, but by thousands of years. It's on a completely different level. And this is the part that still just baffles archaeologists. The people who put up these massive 10-ton pillars, they did it all without the wheel. They hadn't invented pottery yet. They didn't have metal tools. They carved and shaped these incredible monuments with nothing more than flint and stone. It's almost unbelievable.
So, when you have an achievement this incredible, the biggest question is simply, why? What exactly was this place? Was it a temple? Was it a home? Or was it something else entirely?
Well, there are two main theories right now. On one side, you have Klaus Schmidt, the original excavator. He was convinced it was a cathedral on a hill, a purely religious center for pilgrims, arguing that there's no evidence people actually lived there. But other archaeologists, like Ted Banning, are pushing back. They point to the huge amounts of tool debris, animal bones, and, get this, recent discoveries of actual buildings and water cisterns, suggesting people definitely did live here.
This debate has led to a really revolutionary idea, and I think this comment just nails it. What if the whole point of Göbekli Tepe wasn't to serve a society that already existed, but to create one? Just think about that. The huge, shared effort of building this sacred place, maybe that's the very thing that brought everyone together and forged a community.
So let's zoom in and look at the pillars themselves, because what's carved on them tells us so much about the people who made them. These massive T-shaped pillars are just covered in these incredibly detailed reliefs of animals. But what's really strange is what they chose to carve. It's not the deer or wild sheep they were hunting for food. Nope. It's what one researcher called a scary, fantastic world of venomous snakes, lions, scorpions, and vultures.
So, what does it all mean? Well, there are a few ideas. Maybe carving these dangerous creatures was their way of trying to understand and master their fears. The vultures could be linked to death rituals. Maybe they believed vultures carried the souls of the dead up to the sky. And the snake, which is the most common symbol here, is all about transformation, right? Shedding its skin. It could be a powerful symbol for death and rebirth, or maybe even a shaman's journey into the spirit world.
But the sophistication here doesn't stop with the art. Incredibly, it goes even deeper into the very blueprint of the site, and it shows a level of planning that we just didn't think was possible for people this long ago.
Get this. Recent analysis has shown that 3 of the main enclosures weren't just built randomly over time, they were actually planned out from the beginning as a single massive project. There's an underlying geometric pattern that connects all of them. This implies they had a master plan, a level of architectural design that is just astonishing.
And there might be another layer to their plan, one that's written in the stars. Some researchers are now suggesting the whole complex might be aligned to the heavens. They think the temples line up to mark the rising of Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, which would have been a new star for them around that time. So this place could have also been a giant celestial observatory.
Okay, so let's put this all together. What does a geometrically planned, star-aligned temple built by hunter-gatherers actually tell us about the dawn of civilization itself?
The story we all learned in school has always been pretty straightforward. First, humans invent farming. Then, they settle down in one place. And only then, once they have plenty of food and free time, do they get around to building complex societies and organized religion. Well, Göbekli Tepe basically flips that entire script on its head. This place suggests that the urge to worship, to find meaning, came first. Hunter-gatherers came together for a massive shared religious project. That huge effort forced them to organize and settle down, and the sheer challenge of feeding hundreds of workers, well, that might have been the very spark that led to the invention of agriculture.
As Klaus Schmidt himself said, sociocultural changes come first, agriculture comes later. The real catalyst for civilization wasn't farming, it was the human imagination and our need for community.
And what's so incredible is that this story is far from over. I mean, they've excavated less than 5% of the site. Discoveries are happening right now. Just this year, in 2025, they found a brand new human statue, adding another fascinating piece to this giant 12,000-year-old puzzle.
And that just leaves us with this one big question. Göbekli Tepe is like a message in a bottle from the dawn of the modern human mind. As we keep digging, we're not just learning about them, we're learning about the fundamental things that make us who we are. So as we unearth more of this ancient mystery, what else are we going to discover about ourselves?